Hey everyone, Effie here. Today I'm going to show you a little bit of Copic coloring. I had decided to sit down at my craft desk to make some planner stickers, and I wanted to do some Copic coloring, but I wanted to show you guys just a kind of a brief process of how I colored in this beautiful image. This image is from our Rose of Sharon grouped layering stamp set, but this particular image is from the outline stamp from that same set. So that set has the different layering stamps, and then it has the one single outline images stamp, and then you can cut everything out at the same time with the one single die. While I was coloring these flowers in, I was thinking, let me just get in really close. Let's get the zoom in and just show you guys exactly how I colored these in, because some of the ink colors for the Copics that I'm using are really light and they wouldn't have come through using the overhead camera. So I just used my phone and got in really close to show you guys. So that first color that I used was R0000 Pink Beryl. That's 4 zeros. That was the lightest shade that I used, and now I'm moving on to the second marker, which is RV91, which is grayish cherry. And I'm just using really delicate strokes, starting from the inner corners of the petals to the towards the center of the petal. And then I'm also adding really light flicks along the edges of the petals. As I add those sections along the outer edges of the petals, you can see that I add some spacing in between my coloring intervals. And this is just going to add some interest to my coloring. And I'm going to continue this coloring technique as I go from petal to petal. So you want to use really light, delicate strokes. So here you can see I'm adding some at the edge, leaving a space, and then continuing on, leaving a space. I did the same coloring technique using that original really super light marker. You can't really see it that much in the video right now because it has dried, but you can see it in real life. And that's why I decided to go in with the super zoomed in video so that you can see exactly how I colored all of these colors. So this is the next shade of Copic marker that I'm using, RV21 Light Pink. My original intention for this shade was to add slight contrast or shading at the outer edges of the petals, and I didn't really mean to go over the original coloring, but I kind of failed at that, and you can see that I am going over some of that original coloring. I want those undertones to be visible. So what I did was, after I finished with the RV21, I went back to the last shade before the RV21 to add some additional flicks and coloring so that some of that showed through under the RV21, because I don't want the entire floral to just have this one single shade. So here you can see I went back to the RV91 and I'm adding some additional undertones so that you can see some of this lighter shade coming through under the darker, brighter pink. At this point, you might be thinking, Effie, why are you making me color in the original two shades if you're just going to cover it up with a darker shade? Just think of it as additional practice. Practice your really light, feathery Copic marker coloring strokes, and will also actually help you with restraint when you're coloring in that darker shade. Or if this is not really making any sense to you, you could always start with the darker shade and then go in with the lighter shade. But I actually do not like the particular technique of going in with the darker shade first, because I find that I'm a little bit more heavy-handed when my image is blank and I'm going in with that first color. So that if I do go with that technique of going in with that darker shade first, at the end, it kind of overpowers the entire image because I get a little heavy-handed. So I do like to go from lightest to darkest. So you can see that I did go in with the darkest kind of reddish color towards the center of that flower, and then I went in with a black pigment pen to darken up the insides of the flower, and then I added some white dots using a gel pen. And now I'm just going to use 2 shades of light green Copic markers to add shading to my leaves. And since these are really light colors, I'm kind of just adding a little bit of color to the inner and outer portions of the leaves on this piece of foliage. You don't need to put that much detail into the leaves. I need a lot of leaves per floral, so I do like to make a lot, and if I have to add a lot of detail to them, it's just going to take me too long. So I color them very, very quickly and easily. So now, once all the coloring is done, I'm just going to take the coordinating die for our Rose of Sharon stamp set, and I'm going to die cut the images. And since the stamp was from our grouped layering stamp set, the grouped layering coordinating die will cut out all the images at once. So it's easy to mass produce these stickers after you stamp and die cut them. Now I'm just going to take the 2 pages out from my planner, and I'm going to take these die cuts that I also created from our fancy foliage stamp set that I've created and colored and cut out, and I'm just going to start decorating my planner pages for this week. I'm going to create a floral border around the date boxes, so I'm going to continue sticking down my florals and the foliage die cut stickers. For the florals, I do crop some of them, and I never waste any of the pieces no matter how small they are. If I cut off a small piece of one of the petals, I use that smaller piece along another edge. I never throw out my scraps if I can use them, and since I spent a lot of time adding some details to these images, I am going to use every single bit that I chop up. As I stick down the florals, I have them stay within the date boxes, but that's actually not the case for the leaves and the foliage clusters. I have those flowing outside of the boxes, and I kind of like that flowy look of the foliage pieces and then the more contained look for the florals. So laying down your stickers in your planner spread, it takes just a little bit of planning, not too much planning. If you're using the sticker paper after you die cut it, you have that protective backing still on, so you are able to rearrange as you see fit until you're ready to commit to where you want to place that sticker, as opposed to stamping directly onto your planner pages, which I've totally done before and have enjoyed. But for today, I just wanted to stamp these images and color them at my leisure, and then die cut them, and then just start creating a nice border around my date boxes for this week. So that's all from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me color and decorate my planner for this week. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel because I update it weekly. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.